No, I got it. I got it. I know how to turn it on and off. I got it. I got it.
Grace, you're good. You don't need to lean forward, okay?
Okay.
All right. There you go. You're good.
Testing.
You're good. Okay, go and turn it off.
I'll just leave it on. I'll leave it on.
Turn it off for now until she calls your name.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hi, Grace. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to the school board meeting on October 21st, 2025. Please remove your hats and place your cell phones on silent for the pledge, and Grace is going to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, Grace.
Good job.
Thank you, Grace. Our student representative today is Grace Barcelo, and she's from Oak Park School. So welcome, Grace. It's very nice of you to join us as a student representative. And I've been told that you love to spread kindness and positivity wherever you go, and that you are a Taylor Swift and a Rascal Flatts fan.
Yes!
Okay. So would you please tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Grace Barlow. I'm from Sarasota, Florida. I actually have 2 dogs at my house. Their names are Bijou and Inez. I have a brother named Wyatt, and I have Todd, my mom and Bella, and also Logan. One thing I like to do is make friendship bracelets. And then one thing that I also like to do is make dog biscuits. The Boston Pets make dog biscuits. So it's been hard to do, but we're getting used to it. Do I have anything else, Mr. Donovan?
Do you want to talk a little bit about your experience at Oak Park?
Yeah, thank you. My experience at Oak Park is pretty interesting, but so far I like it there. Thank you.
Well, Grace, thank you very much. And I presented you a certificate on behalf of the board. And again, we are so happy that you joined us, and your parents are here and your sister. So we thank you again. And guess what? You get to go back to school now. Yeah. So thank you. Okay, I need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda with the posted additions after the original publications. So item 3.1, that the Sarasota County School Board approve the October 21st, 2025 agenda as submitted on October 14th, 2025, with the following changes. Human Resources. An addendum was added to the Human Resources Instructional Classified Personnel Report.
I move that the Sarasota County School Board approve the October 21st, 2025 agenda as submitted on October 14th, 2025 with the following changes. Human Resources, addendum for the Instructional Classified Personnel Report. Was that it?
Second.
And we have a first by Mrs. Barker and a second by Mrs. Ziegler. Any discussion? No discussion, so please vote. Okay, we're having technical difficulties, so we will have to do a voice vote. Mr. Ed?
Yes.
Mrs. Ziegler?
Yes.
Ms. Rose?
Yes.
Mrs. Barker?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay. We will now have the superintendent's report. Superintendent Connor?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon or good morning, everyone. It's great to see everybody here. As we start, as usual, for the superintendent's report, I'll begin by highlighting some items that are on the consent agenda, starting with 7.1, 7.2, and 7.3. These three items, data sharing agreements that really do strengthen the partnership with our long-standing community organizations of the Sarasota Valley of Florida, the YMCA of Southwest Florida, and Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Suncoast. These programs are doing some wonderful things, such as reading buddies and before and after school programs. And they use student report cards as a way to motivate students and to monitor their progress to ensure that students are excelling at high levels. And so this allows us the ability to share some of that data with them in order to help students reach their academic achievement. 7.8 is the Florida Department of Education Vocational Rehab Grant. We are very happy that we are continuing the pre-employment transition services for students with disability. Last year, over 50 students were able to experience some real-world programming. They were able to secure over 21 jobs, and two actually enrolled at our Suncoast Technical College. And this year's contract, we have been awarded up to $500,000 to continue that expansion of hands-on job experience in all 5 of our high schools, helping us reach every student. 7-11, we're approving a memorandum of agreement with Junior Achievement of Tampa Bay and the 3DE Florida schools. And I'm very excited about this opportunity. This will be a new experience for students beginning next year. And we are looking at targeting Welland Park and Riverview High School as our 2 startup schools. And this partnership will bring real-world, case-based learning and connect our classrooms and our students with mentors, with businesses, with Fortune 500 companies, and community partners around problem solving and real world studies. And so we're excited here, and thank you, JA, for being here representing the great organization that you have. 717 is the approval of the administrator compensation adjustments. Over the last couple of years, we have been able to support our instructional and classified employees with salary increases and performance pay and one-time supplements. This agreement will shore up the ability to allow our administrators who have not been able to receive those increases as our instructional classified have, and will be recommending that they will receive a 2.5% increase as well as a one-time performance incentive. 7.41 is an exciting agreement. It's a priority access to housing agreement between the school board and 2 actual entities, SRQ Station and Venice Avenue Apartments. In partnership with One Stop Housing, we're able to provide this agreement that will give priority access to our hometown heroes. And our teachers and staff are our hometown heroes. And so this is just a wonderful opportunity in two parts of the county, near downtown and down in the Venice area, where we will have the ability to have units for their access for attainable housing as we continue to find ways to incentivize the great people of our school district. Really excited about this past week. We got to serve lunches and get into the cafeterias and get to really experience all the great things happening in the school cafeterias, and serving lunches throughout the district was a wonderful opportunity that I know many of our staff got to enjoy that. And so we celebrate National School Lunch Week through October 14th through the 17th. Want to let you know of a couple events that are coming up through parent engagement. Our coffee chat with strategic engagement is an opportunity for families and parents to engage in conversation with various Sarasota staff members around different topics each month, such as building effective learning strategies at home, the fundamentals of reading, and avoiding the summer slide. So if you want more information on how to participate in any of these events happening throughout the year, please go to our website and you will be able to find this information. Our next one will be October 23rd at 10:30 at the Gulf Gate Library, and the topic will be the fundamentals of reading. Also, we have a learning opportunity for our exceptional student education parents on October 24th and the 28th. You see those two times. We'll have virtual sessions on the topic of gifted eligibility and the magnet school process. If you're interested in this, please make sure that you register at that link, and it will be on Friday the 24th and Tuesday the 28th. We'll be hosting a virtual lunch and learn on November 19th from 12 to 1 p.m. It will be a presentation with Q&A that will explore topics that support student learning. And as you can see, there's several different topics on the flyer here that you can help develop amazing math minds, making sure students understand the importance of attendance, and how to break up with your phone. We all probably need to do that. And again, I'm so glad Grace was able to come and join us today and grace us with her presence here from Oak Park this morning. And it is Disability History and Awareness Week, and we celebrate that. And we're going to show a short video in celebration of this week.
Hello, Sarasota County Schools. Through House Bill 447, Florida recognizes the first 2 weeks of October as Disability History and Awareness Weeks. It is our chance to celebrate the achievements of people with disabilities and learn about the history of disability rights. This year, we also honor the 50th anniversary of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, the landmark law that ensures every student has access to a free and appropriate education. Because of IDEA, our schools are more welcoming, supportive, and full of opportunity than ever before.
Some people's bodies work differently. They might use a wheelchair, walker, or braces to get around. That doesn't stop them from learning, playing, and being a part of everything at school. When we show understanding, everyone succeeds.
Autism means a person's brain works a little differently. They may learn or communicate in unique ways, and often have special talents to share. When we understand and accept differences, we become better teammates and friends.
I have autism, and I learn best when I have visual and extra time to process what I'm doing. Clear direction help me stay on track and show what I know.
Some of our amazing students are deaf or hard of hearing. They may use hearing aids, cochlear implants, or sign language. Communication can happen in many ways, and all of them deserve respect.
Students with learning or intellectual disabilities may need extra time or different strategies, like assistive technology or small group instruction. They bring creativity, problem-solving skills, and unique perspectives that strengthen every classroom.
Sometimes I learn differently. Listening to a lesson can be easier than reading. Words can seem unfamiliar, and I need a little extra help or tools to understand. I'm learning how to ask for what I need and use strategies to help me succeed.
Disability History and Awareness Weeks remind us that every person contributes something valuable. Together, We honor the past, celebrate the present, and create a future built on respect, opportunity, and understanding.
So as we culminate this video, let's give a round of applause to all of those who work with our students with exceptional abilities. Hats off to them. It takes very special people to do the hard work of the school district, and we are so thankful for everyone who is committed to that. Just the last couple of upcoming observances to recognize. It is National Principals Month, and we love to celebrate all the work that our leaders are doing, exceptional work in our schools. And coming up just in a few days is Red Ribbon Week, where we talk about the dangers of drugs and say no to drugs through Red Ribbon Week. On October 28th is National First Responders Day. November 8th is National STEM Day. And on November 11th, we'll be celebrating Veterans Day. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Superintendent Connor. Again, I'd like to welcome everybody. And we do have a packed house. So I hope everyone will follow decorum so everyone can get through with their speaking. So, excuse me, Mrs. Ziegler?
Yes, apologies. I just wanted to note, I was made aware there were some issues, well, a couple things. We have a policy that requires a certain process when it comes to identifying taxpayers, people who have students in our district and employees as far as priority. Apparently our online system is not following that. So moving forward, I would appreciate if we move to paper cards because I want us to follow policy. But in addition, I got notification from a couple people that they did not receive an email confirmation, but that they had registered online. So I don't know how we want to handle that, but I just want to make that aware so in case we have people step up for that. Thank you.
Thank you. So welcome to the first public comment segment of our meeting regarding the agenda items. Each speaker will state their full name and you will have up to 3 minutes. A timer will appear on the screen. Please conclude promptly when the timer ends. The mic will automatically turn off when the timer reaches 0. Abusive language will not be tolerated. Outbursts, applause, or other interruptions that disrupt the meeting are not acceptable. Any person that interferes with the orderly process of this meeting after first being warned that such continued interference will result in removal and will be removed. The speakers in the room behind me allow board members to hear public comment when stepping away from the dais. When your name is called, please approach the podium. If you choose to pass, you will forfeit your time to address the board. As a reminder, a recording cannot be played during your 3 minutes of public comment. We appreciate your cooperation, so let's begin with our first speaker. Mrs. Tremaine.
Christy Carwatt, and next is Deb Hayes.
Please wait till your mic turns green and then speak.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, it's on. My name is Christy Carwatt. I am a retired Sarasota Public School teacher, the mother of 2 former Sarasota Public School students, the grandmother of a Sarasota Public School kindergartner, the wife of a Riverview High School graduate, a 43-year tax-paying resident of Sarasota, and a public school advocate. I am not, as Ms. Rose said those of us who regularly attend these meetings are, an extremist, nor am I a member of Antifa. Well, I am anti-fascism, and I am not, nor have I ever been paid to attend these meetings. But if Ms. Rose can tell me where I can pick up my check, I would appreciate it. I am here to speak about Agenda 8.1, Item 8.1, religious exceptions. I understand, and I quote from the proposed policy, that the purpose of the invocation is to assist board members in setting their minds to a higher purpose and to ease their task of governing. And, I quote again, is for the benefit of the school board prior to conducting the business of the school board. As the invitation is to serve the board, I would like to make a suggestion. I would like to suggest an approach that meets its purpose while avoiding controversy or discomfort for attendees and those watching online. I suggest that before the meeting is called to order, the board meet in the back and have a prayer or a reading conducted prior to entering the board chamber. Thus, you accomplish the goal of the policy without having to create an unnecessary conflict or discomfort for anyone in attendance or watching online. This will also prove that the true intent of the policy is to assist and benefit board members as is stated in the policy and nothing else. I am sure if a prayer is needed, as we all know, we have a frequent attendee to these meetings we can count on to provide one. At the last meeting, Ms. Ziegler said an invocation may help set the tone of the board meetings. However, I think the only thing that will change the tone of these meetings for you, Ms. Rose, Ms. Marinelli, and Ms. Ziegler to start fulfilling your responsibility of putting the system you serve first and foremost, above your personal and political beliefs. If you don't, the tone of these meetings will never change until you are no longer in office. You ladies have it within power to set the tone. It won't change because of an invocation, and you all know it.
Thank you.
Deb Hayes.
Good morning. My name is Deb Hayes, retired school district administrator and a public school advocate. I'm addressing the two distracting agenda items, number 8.1 and 8.2. The first item brings prayer into the boardroom as a standard practice. While I am a person of faith and believe in the power of prayer, I have not witnessed prayer in these chambers bringing about empathy, civility, or mutual respect. I, as others, recognize this move to be part of a larger political movement, which is less about invoking a higher power and more about asserting power. While the board majority can assert power, please don't couch it in trying to, quote, set a tone for the meetings, because we've shown that that doesn't work. I'm also a pragmatist. In time of diminishing resources, how can the board commit expenditures for the formulating of this agenda item, developing a system, and maintaining a process of implementing the policy? Staff already have enough to do. Agenda item 8.2, a resolution, again demonstrates the ability of the board majority to ram an item through an approval process. I'm struck by the fact that at the school board workshop, there was absolutely no discussion of an alternative, much better written resolution prepared by Ms. Barker. An opportunity was lost to at least pretend to be a collaborative board. Was it because Mrs. Barker included words such as diversity and public education? Is that not fitting with American values? In the current version, there's a stated purpose of, quote, fostering patriotism. I submit that, like respect, patriotism is earned, not mandated through indoctrination. These two agenda items do not in any way make the district better. They do, however, attempt to provide a distraction from the wolves at the door of public education. While your constituents look for leadership in saving public education, you hide behind resolutions and distracting policies. It doesn't take courage to approve a construction change order, but it does take courage to stand up to political forces that demand compliance. Please do the right thing. Do your things for your constituents and do your job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Diane Becker, and then Jeff Craig.
Sorry, these are reading glasses. Good morning. My name is Diane Becker, and I am a retired school educator and a voter in Sarasota. I am here to address Agenda Item 8.1. You say the purpose of invocations is for the benefit of the school board. Tell me, though, what's your job as an elected school board member? Is it to make policy that benefits you? Shouldn't we be addressing the real challenges our schools are facing right now? There are huge budget shortfalls due to vouchers, hostile takeovers by schools of hope, yet you want to put in a policy that you know will be very divisive. As leaders, shouldn't you be trying to unite the electorate around real challenging issues our schools are facing right now? I get that prayer to you may mean something quite different than prayer means to others in this room and in your districts. You have the ability to pray silently to yourselves before you sit in those chairs. As soon as your bottoms are in those seats, though, you no longer get to promote your brand of worship. Prayer is very personal and does not belong in government meeting place. If I may, I would like to suggest that we all ground ourselves around the things that school boards are supposed to do. Instead of prayer, how about we recite the vision statement or the mission statement listed on your website? The vision statement is to be the premier education provider, empowering every student to thrive in an ever-changing world through innovation and continuous advancement. Or the mission statement, which says to engage, empower, and elevate every student every day. These are statements we can all get behind and ground us toward this common goal. Please amend Agenda Item 8.1. Instead of a spiritual invocation, let's recite either the mission statement or the vision statement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff Craig, and then Taylor Collins.
Mr. Craig?
My name is Jeff Craig. I'm a resident of the city of Sarasota. I'm here to speak this morning about the things going on here in the school, especially with this proposal for prayer before the meetings. I think most of us grew up with some sort of religious faith, and there's too many different kinds of religious faiths to depend on one particular one. And I think that's where we're kind of going, the Christian aspect, not anyone else, leaving out people who don't believe or believe differently. So I would like for this not to happen. I think that we have better things to focus our attention on. We have our schools that are rapidly being defunded left and right. And you guys are going to be doing a very good job, like you always do, you really do. But you're going to be doing a very good job managing this into the ground. We're on a plane, it's been hijacked, and it's up to the passengers now, the community, to get us down safely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Taylor Collins, followed by Barbara Vaughn.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm Taylor Collins. I'm a parent of a child in the public school system. I'm also a product of the Sarasota County school system, and a lot of you guys know me personally, so I appreciate you taking the time. I have two issues I do want to speak about, and I promise it will not take 3 minutes because I know you guys have a lot more to talk about. I do want to put my 2 cents forward on the prayer before the board. I personally am on the Financial Advisory Committee for the referendum, as well as the State College of Florida Board of Trustees. The State College of Florida Board of Trustees is a governor-appointed position, and we do actually have prayer and pledge before each of our meetings. That is part of our agenda. It does ground us, and I'm speaking personally because I do believe in God, and I do go to church on Sundays, and I do believe that it does work powerfully in the board meetings. We do generally have positive decorum within our organization, even though we might disagree on a few items. So I do want to share that I am in support of the prayer before the school board meeting. The other piece I want to speak to, and my apologies that I haven't been to you all personally, but I will reach out individually to have this conversation. I would like the district to consider, and this is outside the agenda, so my apologies. I just don't want you to be bored with me for another 3 minutes after this. But I have discovered that each school has differing guidelines as to what is considered excused and unexcused absences. And while I do 100% support the fact that the children need to be in class, there are extenuating circumstances where a parent is providing an educational field trip or some historic visit. Apropos, my son and I went to visit the Senate chambers in Tallahassee, which we partnered with a work trip for my husband and so he had an experience to be able to go into the Senate chambers, speak to the Senate staff, press buttons, go up and see where legislation is made. And I think that is a powerful, important tool that children should be educated on. And in his particular grade is not part of his current curriculum. And that, my understanding, is an unexcused absence, but it is at the purview of the principal. I've asked some amazing students that are going to come up here and talk about a variety of different things that I am incredibly proud that they have the
Mrs.
wherewithal
Collins?
to do that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We have to stay on the agenda.
Okay.
But thank you.
I will reach out to you all
got the gist.
individually.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Barbara Vaughn, followed by Julie Forrester.
Good morning, board. Most of you know me. Some of you have heard me called the church lady. I wear that proudly. I do love to pray wherever I go, and this chamber definitely needs it. I'm very much in favor of opening every school board meeting with a word of prayer. If you look back in our history, our founding fathers had very long, contentious discussions about various issues that they finally settled on. But not until, at least in one case, Benjamin Franklin called the room to order and said, "Let's pray." He did not pray for a minute or two to open the proceedings. They prayed for something like 3 or 4 hours. And I think thanks to some of the prayers that they had among the founding fathers as they were struggling to set the rules that this country would live by, prayer was their underpinning for everything they did. If you look at the histories of our founding fathers, they were all believers. They believed slightly different things in slightly different ways, and they expressed it in different ways. But they came together in the chambers and prayed. Today, before our Congress convenes, we have a chaplain that comes forward and prays. If prayer wasn't important, that would not have been going on for 250 years. Prayer is important. I served 28 years in the Air Force, and about the last 5 years I served, I was an assistant chaplain. Let me correct that, a chaplain's assistant. I was hired because I was a good shot. Most people don't realize that chaplains are never allowed to touch a weapon. So the chaplain assistant becomes the bodyguard for the chaplain, and I was very good at that. I was also very good at praying, and there were very few meetings that went on base that I was not asked to pray. Anytime our airmen were sent forward, deployed to places like Iraq or Afghanistan, I would always pray for the group that was being deployed. Yes, prayer is important. If it's not important to you, disregard. Think about something else. Be quiet and be within.
Thank you.
Julie Forrester, followed by Leila Newcomb.
Good morning. I'm Julie Forrester, proud parent of Sarasota County Public School students. I'm speaking on agenda items 8.1 and 8.2, prayer in school board meetings, and the resolution celebrating America's 250th anniversary. I'm concerned that this board is choosing to concentrate on these distractions at a time when this district cannot afford to lose focus on what really matters, educating our students. Our schools and students are facing real urgent challenges, including school closures, staff shortages, growing uncertainties for students with disabilities, and the threat of for-profit charter operators moving in to take over our public schools. These are the issues that demand the full attention of this board. Sarasota can't afford to waste time and energy on symbolic political fights when our classrooms need real solutions. The recent decision to move board meetings to 10 a.m. has already made it harder for working parents and especially students and teachers to be here. These are the people most directly affected by your decisions, and yet they are now the least able to participate in them. Yet, this room is still packed with students. It means your attempt to silence them hasn't worked. When meetings are scheduled at times that shut out large portions of the community, it is more than just an inconvenience. It is an attack on democracy itself. It undermines the very principles this board is to celebrate with its resolution. You cannot honor democracy with one policy while limiting it with the next. These items do not strengthen our schools, support our teachers, or help a single student. They pull focus away from the real crises the district faces, the instability created by federal layoffs in education, the financial strain of privatization schemes draining public school resources, and the resulting uncertainty facing families across Sarasota County. At a time when our public education system is under coordinated attack, what our students and our district need is unity and focused leadership, not division and distractions. I urge the board to refocus meeting time and resources on issues that actually impact student achievement. Please prioritize transparency, community input, and student outcomes over symbolic resolutions. Public schools are the cornerstone of our democracy. They are where young people learn to think critically, to ask questions, and to understand that every voice matters, including their own. The American dream depends on equitable access to a strong public education system. It's what allows every child, no matter their background or circumstance, to build a life for themselves and to thrive.
Thank you.
Lila Newcomb, followed by Jamie Barrett. Is she here? I don't know if she's here. Is she outside?
Thank you.
Jamie Barrett, followed by India Miller.
Good morning. I'm Jamie Barrett, and I'm very concerned about allowing religion in our public schools. I'm speaking about Agenda 8.1. It seems like there are other issues we should focus on, like our school budget crisis. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled on school prayer multiple times. Ingo v. Vitale, 1962. The court ruled that it is unconstitutional for public schools to lead students in prayer, even if the prayer is non-religious and voluntary. The First Amendment prohibits government endorsement of religion. Another case, Abington School District v. Skemp, 1963. Schools cannot organize or sponsor religious exercises even if a student can opt out. Another case, Santa Fe Independent School District v. Doe, 2000. Schools may not allow student-led prayers over the loudspeaker at football games because since it's school equipment and occurred at school-sponsored event, it was considered government endorsement of religion. Wallace versus Jaffrey, 1985, declared unconstitutional an Alabama law that authorized daily a moment of silence for meditation or voluntary prayer, because the court found the law's intent was to promote religion. The conclusion, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that official school-sponsored prayer in schools violates the First Amendment's Establishment Clause. If you vote yes on Agenda 8.1, it will be challenged in court by the ACLU. Let's be respectful of the Constitution and realize that prayer in school is already a decided matter. The backbone of our Constitution is the separation of church and state. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
India Miller, followed by Katie Smith.
All right. Hello, I'm India X. Miller. Welcome back, Karen. Can't really believe that this happened, but here we are, and I want to speak about agendas items 7.1, 7.7, and 7.8. 7.1, I think, is how we rate our superintendent, which is so important. I'm a big believer in 360-degree feedback. If something isn't working in the system, I think a public forum where the people the superintendent represents, where the board members who are in charge of our superintendent have an option for our public to come voice our concerns that things aren't working right. Moving this meeting to 10 a.m. means students and teachers have to take a sick day, have to walk out to attend the meeting that you're in charge of, the schools that you're in charge of. There are at least 50 people standing out in the hot Florida sun. Why is this meeting in this building? We have hundreds of buildings to choose from. We are at capacity. We're often at capacity. I've got 80-year-old people standing out in the hot Florida sun that pay for your employment, that pay for these schools. We are taxpayers. That is unacceptable in how we review Mr. Connors. Is how do we review you guys? How do we review the school board? I thought it was by voting, but we vote people out and our governor puts them back on. We have people on our school board who every other school board member has said, you should leave. You're a distraction, Bridget Ziegler. Yet here you are, right? Your scandal resulted in chaos for our schools, right? We are forever tied with what happened. Everyone knows this internationally because of your scandal. That's not fair. That's not how we review people. We should be able to vote you off because of that and not think you're going to come back. That's
Ms.
part of
Miller,
our
this is not an agenda item, so would you please?
Actually, isn't reviewing the superintendent and,
Well,
is it not?
talking about other school board members is not talking about Mr. Connor and
I think
evaluation.
we as the public need to have a way to have a say in how you're performing, or we don't have a say in how he's performing. And if we can't vote you out, we have no say.
That's not an agenda item. You're
Okay.
talking about the superintendent.
Well, it all seems like it goes together, but since, I guess I'll say like they do in Spanish, no sé, pero ayudamos. Gracias.
Thank you.
Katie Smith, followed by Cy Tay Smith. Katie Smith. Cy Tay Smith. No. Okay. I'm saying if we could print it.
Sorry.
Wait till the, now you can, the green light's on.
Beautiful. Hi, everybody. My name is Zaide Smith with Voices of Florida Fund. Listen, the party line on Schools of Hope is that they're meant to step in and offer alternatives to students of underperforming neighborhoods. On paper, that sounds great, but in practice, it's a disaster. This is due to a couple of extremely important and complex factors the folks behind the program don't want uplifted. The first being obvious. By bringing in for-profit schools rather than investing in the existing public schools so that they can improve, the government is creating an incentive for parents to remove their children from public schooling. This removes students from distinct protections offered by public schools, including anti-discrimination policies, teacher certification, and affordable lunch programs. Essentially, charter schools are being given the power.
Excuse me, this is not an agenda item. You'll have to wait till after the business meeting.
Okay, they just called me. I was here, I filled out an email for two separate things, so maybe this is for the other thing.
What, probably?
Prayer?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, they didn't tell us outside. Can I start over?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Listen, I respect. I respect prayer. I respect the reasons people have their own personal spiritualities. I think it's incredibly important that we uphold everybody's right to have that in our society. I pray every day. With that said, I do have some concerns over the invocation prayer that y'all are putting forth, largely because in the verbiage it states, "This is not intended and shall not be construed in any way to affiliate the board with, show allegiance to, or preference with any religion, denomination, faith, creed, or belief system. The purpose of this policy is to establish a fair and neutral process for such invocations," which sounds great, right? That sounds great, except then it is followed up a sentence later with, "The school board maintains control over the message conveyed in the invocation by controlling the selection process through this policy." It can't be both. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say that this is open to everybody and then say, but only if we like them. You know how this board leans, so you know there's going to be a preference if it's really going to come down to y'all making selection. I appreciate the concept. I think the idea of having a moment of silence in the morning is great. But when you're turning around saying the purpose, and this is your own writing, the purpose of this invocation is to assist board members in setting their minds to a higher purpose and to ease their task of governing the school district. I don't feel that religion should be your basis for governing the school district. So you are telling on yourselves in the wording of your proposal. So with respect, you're not supposed to govern us based on your religion. You're supposed to listen to your constituents. And by giving minutes of every single day to a prayer that could instead be given to your actual constituents talking to you, who often have their time cut short because there is not enough time according to y'all, that is disrespectful to parents and students that want to be heard and only have the opportunity to be heard once a month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Reverend Lily Brock.
Wait till your mic there turns green. You're on.
Okay, all right. Good morning. My name is Lily Brock, and I am the pastor of a progressive Christian church here in Sarasota. I'm going to start by saying that I'm not sure this policy is a good idea, even though I am a faith leader and deeply believe in the power of prayer and reflection and the chance to do that. However, I'm not sure it's good policy because it has the possibility of feeding into the culture wars we live with around religion and especially Christian nationalism. Even as a person of faith, I am wary of how this will actually turn out. Allow me to also say that the policy itself seems to try to eliminate any religious preferences and also supports non-religious preferences, and I appreciate the effort. Still, when I read it, and when I read it yesterday and the day before, I couldn't shake an uneasy feeling. I asked myself, what is this uneasy feeling? And it is trust or distrust. I asked myself, why do I distrust you with this? And the flood of answers came. I distrust it because now we have Miss Rose back on the board when the people of Sarasota decidedly said that they did not want you here. How do we trust that? Despite saying that you want to hear what people have to say, you have changed meeting times to ensure that the people you say you serve, in large part, won't be able to be here without really having to do extreme things to be present. You removed recently enumerated protections for students. And despite the fact that one of your colleagues, Liz Barker, pointed out the research around that, you still changed a policy, even when no one was asking you to change it. So unless there was a boogeyman in the hall somewhere threatening you, it seems unusual and unreal that you would do this. I don't know why we would trust it. You're proposing schools of hope that use taxpayer funds to support the for-profit enterprises. You have repeatedly allowed a person at this meeting or these meetings to say a prayer in public comments, and you don't stop it. So when it comes to being equitable around religious freedom, it's no wonder I don't feel very trusting. My experience is that any leader cannot fully rely on just a policy. They also have to enjoy the trust of the people.
Thank you.
TJ Pillar, and next up, Bill Neese.
Good morning. My name is JT Pryor. I am a queer Christian minister serving a rainbow congregation in Sarasota. And when I initially read agenda item 8.1 that we were considering adding an invocation at the beginning of meetings, I really just shrugged it off as another unnecessary culture war in this boardroom. However, as a Christian minister, my vocation demands that I speak to this and to you. And I have to ask, what does this policy do to empower students and teachers and parents of students? It seems like it's more about having power over this boardroom. The Jesus that I follow and teach in my congregation actually rebuked this type of behavior from religious people. Now, on paper, this policy actually reads very inclusive of all faith traditions. It has measures to support prayers and moments of reflection. It even has moments and measures to support secular speakers as well in this moment. But I do not believe that I can trust you. Policy does not yield integrity. What yields integrity is the actions of this boardroom. I've been attending for close to 2 years, and I fear the public just cannot trust the board to actually implement this policy in a non-biased manner. The board who has members who take to social media to bully trans folks, the board who has a member who is appointed back after the public has voted them out, the board who changes meeting times to exclude students, working parents, and teachers from using their voices. So I have to ask, how do we trust you with this policy? How do we trust you to actually be inclusive of the spiritual beliefs of every student every day? There's a lottery system in this policy that's supposed to be about random and not respecting one faith over the other. But how can we trust our board leadership to have representatives from Jewish identities, Muslim identities, Christian, atheist traditions as well? My fear is that while this policy is open to all faith leaders and civic leaders, the board will act to only have Christian leaders, and not just Christian, but a fundamentalist Christian that doesn't represent all of the views that people may have. How will the public actually know which leaders are in this lottery and that the board is actually going to make efforts to include all faiths? I have my doubts, and I hope that you will prove me wrong. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill Neese, followed by Kennedy Cole.
myself ready here. My name is Bill Neese. I've been attending these board meetings for a number of years. And the reality is that there's always disagreement. But I want to address 8.1 and 8.2, kind of in a combination way. America is not only one of the greatest nations in the history of the world, has also become its longest ongoing constitutional republic. Its original government has now endured well over 250 years. However, America's longevity is only as stable and secure as its foundations. So what is the foundation of an American government? Political scientists now know that the greatest single source of political inspiration for our founding father was, strangely enough, the Bible, which is cited in 34% of the quotations from the founding era from 1760 to 1805. This discovery, while it might surprise many today, would have come as no surprise to the founders. It was John Adams who explained the general principles on which the fathers achieved independence were the general principles of Christianity, sometimes considered a dirty word today. Thomas Jefferson stated, "Can the liberties of a nation be thought secure when we have removed their only firm basis, a conviction in the minds of the people that those liberties are a gift of God, that they are not to be violated, but with his only to be violated with his potential wrath. Indeed, I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just, that his justice cannot sleep forever." Thomas Jefferson. Over and over, these founders included understanding of faith. So it is no strange thing that, again, most all of our public meetings and inscripted all over Washington, D.C. are Bible quotes and principles that were founded in the documents of our Constitution. Deuteronomy is the most quoted principle concerning our way of life and governmental structures. Now, I can quote many, many things, but the reality is changing, or what we would call modifying our principles, is a what we would call historical revisionism. Recently, I was in Boston at, well, I'm not going to be able to say that because it's about out of time, so I'm cutting that one off. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kennedy Cole, followed by Ava Lenzer.
Good morning. My name is Kennedy Cole, and I'm a junior at Booker High School. I'm here today to speak in support of Agenda Item 8.3, the renaming of the football field at Booker High School in honor of Coach Fred Gilmore. My favorite part about going to Booker is what I call the Booker spirit. It's something I've never felt that going anywhere else but the Booker schools, and it's something special about the Booker schools in particular. No man encapsulated that spirit more than Fred Gilmore. While most of Mr. Gilmore's work was before my time, I truly cannot think of a better person to name our home football field after. I thank Dr. Shelley and our administration for their work in this, and I hope you all let us honor a true Booker icon. I'm also here because of Agenda Item 7.42, which will increase the limits on student journalism and student speech. This item makes it harder for students to express their views on important topics that affect them directly day to day. Unfortunately, this is not the first time this board has limited student speech, and it is the next step of the degradation of our rights to express our views to you and our community as a whole. Just take school board meetings as an example. When I first began attending these meetings, there were 2 a month, both at 6 p.m. with no comment restrictions. Look how far we have fallen. Today, students like me have less rights before this than ever before, and the blame for that rests solely on the board and our superintendent. Believe me, no one wishes I could be at school right now more than me and maybe Dr. Shelley, but I am here, along with my fellow students, to send a message loud and clear to these board members that that students' voices will not be silenced no matter what. Hold the meetings at 3 a.m. Limit student comments to 30 seconds. Make them only happen once a year by that matter. No matter what, you will see students and families come from far and wide to protest these changes and demand what we deserve, an audience before this very board. At today's meeting, you already see the packed house. You already know about the people outside. But on November 18th, we're all coming back and bringing plenty of friends who will make today look like a picnic. So it's your choice. Hold the meeting at 10 a.m. and make us all miss school, or revert back to 6 p.m. and fix what you broke. Ball's in your court. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ava Lenzer, and followed by Daria.
Good morning, school board members. My name is Ava Lenners, and I'm here to speak regarding agenda item 7.42, the revision in policy 4.51 for student publications that we have taken the initiative to bring to your attention. I'm currently a senior serving as the editor-in-chief of Pineview's high school newspaper, The Torch. These past 5 years in Pineview's journalism program have offered experiences and opportunities that have proven essential to my future, teaching me principles of responsibility, trust, honesty, and integrity. With all the good this class has brought into my life, there has been one issue. The current policy 4.51 is not clear with its guidelines as to what can and cannot be published. This has led to several instances where clarity would have been beneficial for all involved in the process, helping both the administration and students know what is appropriate for the publication. Passing this revision would do just that and allow us to expand our education by getting a more well-rounded sense of what it means to be a journalist while keeping in mind the interests of students. I greatly appreciate the time you've spent reviewing our policy, so thank you and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Daria Schwanina, followed by Andrew Ashby.
Good morning. My name is Daria Shabunina, and I'm here on behalf of Pineview's high school newspaper, The Torch, to speak about the Policy 4.51 revision on Agenda Item 7.42. I implore you to support it. Our current policy states, rather concisely, that the school principal shall retain full editorial control over the style and content of all student publications, that said publications must serve the pedagogical interests of the school. This is vague and up for interpretation by individuals. In one school, the principal may prohibit publication of content that they do not agree with. In another, they may give too much leeway. Our policy provides a solution to this. Section 2 is about content limitations. It prohibits speech that is defamatory, libelous, promotes illegal activities, or is otherwise harmful. The clarification of restrictions gives the principal, tasked with reviewing the content, a clear understanding of what can be published and what should be censored in order to ensure the safety and protection of students. This standardizes approval and ensures that no student publication nor school is at a disadvantage. The revised policy takes unnecessary responsibility off the school's administration in their decision, aiming to streamline the process, preserve valuable relationships between the administration and the students and advisor, and allow the administration to focus on managing the school rather than prolonged approval of content. Another asset of the revision to Policy 4.51 is the appeal process. Not only does it protect student writing, but it also teaches important skills such as critical thinking, communication, and cooperation with school board members, all of which are vital inside and outside the classroom. I hope you will find the revision to be beneficial for all. Thank you for your time and your careful consideration.
Thank you.
Andrew Ashby, followed by Jacob Roche.
Hi, my name is Andrew Ashby, and I'm also here on behalf of the Pineview Torch regarding our 4.51 policy revision. We sent all of our publications to be reviewed by the Florida Scholastic Press Association, or FSPA. And every single year, we go to the annual FSPA convention, and almost every single year, we get the same comment of how unfortunate it is that we have to go through such a long review process. In fact, in the issue that we received back from scoring by FSPA just yesterday, it was mentioned by the scorer how unlucky it is that we must undergo the arduous process of prior review. While our policy does not remove prior review, we still feel that this will help to streamline that prior review process and benefit our student and faculty alike. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jacob Roche, followed by Madeline Bailey.
All right, hi, I'm Jacob Roche, a student journalist from Pineview School. So my fellow staff members and I started the initiative to write policy 4.51, which is on the agenda today as item 7.42. So I appreciate the spirit of Mr. Cole's comments, but we, as student journalists, were the ones who initiated this change. In doing so, I know a lot of people who have asked, to put it simply, why? I also know there's been questions about whether we've recently had any cases where we felt that our school's administration acted unfairly. I think these are all fair questions, and if the roles were reversed, I'd be asking similar ones. So I just wanted to answer these as thoroughly as time will permit. Printing a school newspaper is a collaborative process, not just between the individual student journalists, but between the publication as a whole and the school's administration. And I think that's worth saying more because it doesn't get said enough. A student publication is all about working together. But when there's a lack of clarity, when there's extreme uncertainty about what can and can't be said, it greatly strains this collaboration. Unfortunately, this lack of clarity is what we have exactly right now. So in proposing this revision, our intention was to build a clear set of guidelines so that everyone involved in this collaboration knows what's expected of them. Additionally, when reviewing other school districts' policies, we noticed that quite a few have an administrative appeals process, where students can go to the district if they feel that the school's administration is acting unfairly. So while I can't think of any times where my staff specifically has felt the need to escalate the situation to that level, the county's a big place, and sooner or later, a need for this will arise. Because of this, implementing an appeals process is something that I think makes a lot of sense. Given all this, right now, there's a clear deficiency in our current policy regarding student publications. But now, we have an opportunity to fix that. These revisions work toward a common sense solution to a real issue that affects the next generation of journalists, the people who, in just a few short years, we will all rely on to deliver the truth. These revisions are something that all of us can and that all of us should get behind. I appreciate the board's interest in the policy revision as well as Mr. Parento and Mr. Duggan's efforts. I thank you for the opportunity to have this brought up for public comment.
Thank you.
Madeline Bailey, followed by Ali Chung.
Hi, good morning. My name is Madeline Bailey. I'm a junior at Pineview and one of the news editors for The Twitch. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak today. I'm here to speak about School Board Item 7.42 in regard to Policy Revision 4.51. Sarasota County is a top-rated Florida school district, and our policy works to add to the educational excellence we've continuously upheld here. As an A-rated school district, Sarasota County has the means and the duty to set the highest standards of learning for all schools throughout the state. Our policy provides all journalism students greater opportunity to advocate for their own learning experiences while gaining experience in one of the most vital fields that we are working to head into in the future. Our policy has already aided students throughout the state in their efforts to advance their learning. Students in Palm Beach County are working to implement a similar policy, which they battled off of ours, to uplift their own school's journalism education system. Not only this, but similar policies, some of which we modeled our own policy after, have been successfully implemented for years throughout the country and the state. Sarasota County is in an important position to pass a policy that is already moving through their state. I hope you take this opportunity to support our learning experiences. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ali Chung, followed by Elizabeth Bornstein.
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Ali Chung, and I'm speaking today on behalf of student journalists in Sarasota regarding the changes to policy 4.51 in agenda item 7.42. I would first like to thank you for expressing your support for our cause at the work session earlier this month. I would also like to thank Mr. Parento, Mr. Duggan, and the Sarasota County legal team for their dedication to making parts of our proposed policy possible. As a student journalist at Pineview School, I'm here today to explain why we began our efforts. Across the country, people are growing exponentially divided over what free speech should look like in politics, online, and even in schools. Journalism, especially in schools, is where our students learned how to balance that firsthand. This is what our journalism program has taught us, and this is what our revision to policy 4.51 is about. In a time where America feels divided, schools have the chance to teach what unity through conversation looks like. By passing this revision, Sarasota can show that protecting student voices and maintaining accountability are not opposites, rather partners in our learning experience. I hope that our involvement in this civic process can reflect the very goals that our policy envisions. A community where students are trusted to use their voices with purpose and integrity. I would like to reiterate, as student journalists, we support this passage of this revision. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Elizabeth Bornstein, followed by Casanova Doherty.
Greetings, Board, Superintendent. It's been a while since I've been here. Thank you for opening this up to all of us to give you our thoughts and feedback, as usual. So I'm a parent of a student in the district, and as much as I would like to be here on a regular basis, it's not possible any longer, but today seemed exceptionally important. Just gonna set my water bottle down. I'm here to speak on the agenda item about invocation or prayer at the board meetings. And look, I'm a prayerful person. I pray daily. I actually pray silently before I come to these meetings because you never know what you're going to get. But I think the way the idea was delivered was not in the good spirit of community. I believe in unity and community, and I think the intention would have been to bring people together to discuss it and how to execute it effectively, because there is a place for it. I wonder about a non-denominational chaplain. I wonder about a committee of people of all faiths, including non-theists, to discuss how to set the intention before each board meeting for productive exchange of ideas and supporting our students. But these things don't happen, and that's concerning to me as a parent, because it always seems like a big, chaotic storm. We've moved through many storms. I've been coming to board meetings for quite some time now. And I really would prefer a more peaceful approach. I mean, that's really what prayer is about, right? It's a centering, grounding experience of how to be right where we are and meet as individuals and work collaboratively. So I ask that you think about how to collaborate with us. I'm a parent of a student. I'm close with a lot of parents, a lot of teachers and staff, and people just want to be heard and included. Prayer should be inclusive for all. Aside from being raised in the Jewish faith, I went to Quaker school actually, and was taught about light being in everyone. There's light in every student every day. There's light in every one of you. There's light in everyone here. And we need to work to celebrate that and not undermine by triggering and divisiveness and all kinds of difficult behaviors that just aren't productive. And we see this reverberating statewide, nationwide.
Thank you.
Casanova Doherty, followed by Michelle Posey.
Good morning, Board. I'm Cass Doherty. I'm here to speak about Agenda Item 8.1 on prayer in the boardroom. I'd like to start this off with a clarification. I do not condemn religion, nor do I hate it, or any of its practitioners for their faith, no matter what denomination. I'm a man of faith myself, and I have a very strong belief that every person on the face of this earth should have the right to practice or abstain from whatever faith they please and live truthfully to themselves and their God if they wish to and believe in one. That being said, I also believe that there's a time and place for faith. That time and that place will never be in an intersection with government. To slot in a prayer in the beginning of a governmental meeting feels dystopian to me and feels like a crack in the face of separation of church and state. I could talk for longer on this side of the matter, but I will not because there are more important things to address. To put forward a proposal like this that would knowingly be controversial at a time when we have so much more at stake as a district is deeply concerning. I do not want to stand here and argue about religion's place in this room while we are losing Wilkinson, seeing Polytech move from its specialized vital infrastructure, while funding cuts are restructuring our district, and while we are facing the impending, seemingly unstoppable parasite of schools of hope prepare to sink its first tendrils into us. Our public schools are under threat right now. We do not need distractions. We need actions that will strengthen our schools and not divert meeting time away from doing so to pointless political theater. Please refocus your attention onto what's at stake here for the students you preside over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle Posey, followed by Connie Bruni.
Good morning, Michelle Posey. Listen, I want to speak particularly to prayer and the celebration of America's 250th birthday. Defending faith and celebrating the United States of America is not a culture war. Anyone who says such a thing is telling you their ideological idiocracy is neither constitutional nor widely accepted in our community of Sarasota County. Our founding documents mention Creator with a capital C, the divine with a capital D, time and time again. The Florida State Constitution says, and I quote, "We the people of the state of Florida, being grateful to Almighty God for our constitutional liberty." You cannot like this. We can disagree, but it's constitutional. Many school boards in Florida already do this, guys. Sarasota County commissioners start their meetings with prayer. Our state delegation meetings here in Sarasota County do too. Some things are worth fighting for, so to some of you up there who fight for this, thank you. Patriotism and loving your nation should also not be viewed as a culture war. But again, ideological idiocracy in this room showing up today is trying to do just that. Listen, I've heard more name calling today from adults. Didn't we just try to pass a student code of conduct where they thought enumerations were so important? I'm the only person in this boardroom today that's actually had hands laid on me in this boardroom. So enumerations didn't help me. And my point is, why are you calling people names? White, Christian nationalist? Christian nationalist? I'm a Christian and I love my country. That's a culture war? This is how far backwards we've gotten. And I've heard people talk about don't take time during this meeting to pass things about prayer. I think prayer is exactly what we need. You know what prayer offers? It offers protection. It offers unity. It offers a fresh start. What better? That's all I've heard that they want. And if you look at some of the court cases, they're going to tell you exactly how this gets carried out. And I know our attorney on the board will help you with that as well. There's a way to do it. Other people do it. I just really wanted it to be absolutely clear that those of you that support this and that are going to push for a strong celebration of America's 250th birthday, we, the community, are behind you 100%. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Connie Bruni, followed by Richard Arena.
Is it on? Good morning. Connie Bruni, Sarasota taxpayer. I'm here to talk about two items that are on the agenda, item 7.1 and also 8.1. 8.1 has to do with opening with a prayer. I do find it interesting that the state law requires that our children start their day with a moment of silence in our classrooms. And so why is this such a terrible concept? I do not believe that separation of church and state is in our Constitution anywhere. Those words do not exist, so please do not be bullied or gaslighted by that information. Freedom of religion is not freedom from it. That's important to remember. And rewriting our country's history is not acceptable. So those are the things on 8.1. But 7.1, or 7.4, Section 1, is this I found very interesting. My little eyebrow went up when I saw this on the agenda and I started doing some digging. This has to do with what Mr. Connor has indicated is affordable housing for staff of our school board. But my question is, Was this open to all people who own rental properties and or apartments? How was this process done? Because when I started looking, I'm going to be very frank, when I started looking, who is the owner, the registered agent of Venice Avenue Apartments, LLC, one of the benefactors of this process? Nick Pachota, the mayor of the city of Venice. I'm not comfortable with this process. I'm going to be very frank. And I think it needs a further vetting before it is voted upon by the board.
Thank you.
Richard Arena, followed by Sebastian Martinez.
Good morning, school board, especially Chairman Marinelli, and to the two members of the board, Ms. Rose and Ms. Eagle, who've been unprofessionally and unfairly disparaged today by certain speakers in here. It's totally unacceptable. Also, good morning, Superintendent Connor, and I promise I won't make any comments about your hair today. So, continuing on, I'd like to talk a bit about A2. My name is Richard Arena, and I'm a tax-paying resident of Sarasota County for over 30 years, so I'm not quite a resident, but close enough. I'd like to talk a bit about celebrating the 250th anniversary of one of the greatest experiments in mankind, the United States of America. One way we can do that is in the school board is by emphasizing Western civilization, especially civics in class. Now, I don't know what we do already, but my perception is it's not enough. And the simple reason is listening to some of the speakers, and especially to the talking heads in mass media, they do not understand that we are not a democracy, we're a constitutional republic. Now, that is an important distinction. A constitutional republic is a subset of a democracy, but it offers protection for minorities. And not the minorities we think, just minorities we think of today, which are race and gender. It also does minority of opinion, which is the important part of this. That's one of the reasons so many people don't understand the importance of the Electoral College, in that what that does protects the minority rights of the smaller states. So we don't have one presidential election, we have 50 elections plus all of the individual little territories and the like. That's how we elect our president, to protect the rights of minorities. Look, our founders weren't perfect, but they were wise beyond their years. I mean, few people realize a lot of our founders were in their 20s when they wrote these amazing documents that came up with this great experiment. One of the ways we can emphasize this to our students is perhaps having some of their words stated every day, starting next year at the beginning of the day, or written on boards. And I don't consider myself smart enough, or I don't want to misquote them. Let me quote Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the Declaration of Independence. A democracy is nothing more than mob rule, where 51% take away the rights of the 49. Or John Adams, remember, democracy never lasts long. Or even Benjamin Franklin, one of our best Secretary of States. Democracy is two wolves and a lamb voting on what to have for lunch. Liberty is a well-armed lamb contesting the vote. And Alexander Hamilton, we're a Republican government. And I will thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Sebastian Martinez, followed by Anya Dennison.
Oh, wow. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the board and Mr. Superintendent. My name is Sebastian Martinez, and I'm a proud product of the Sarasota County school system. I wanted to speak, well, I guess not briefly, about the invocation of these meetings. I believe people have already covered everything that I would have said, but I do want to echo that these agenda items are nothing more than a distraction at a time when the board should be focusing on protecting our schools from for-profit charter school operators, protect and save our schools like Wilkinson, Emma E. Booker, Brookside, and Polytech.
Your community wants you to do more than just show up before them and obfuscate and only take a handful of questions when you're discussing the closure, merging, or for-profit charter takeover of our schools. I've heard the superintendent, Tom Edwards and Liz Barker, publicly oppose these schools of hope, but nothing really of substance from Robin Marinelli, Karen Rose, and Bridget Ziegler. In fact, during a workshop, Karen and Bridget framed these takeovers as an exciting opportunity. And Robin Marinelli scolded Mr. Edwards and Ms. Barker for publicly talking about the negatives of schools of hope. There's nothing exciting about the destruction of our A-rated public school district. These policy items add on to the long list of items that did nothing to serve our students, like firing the last superintendent, voting for redistricting maps, voting to bring on a few-month-old company, at the time Vermilion, changing meeting time frequency, changing meeting times, Rose's and Robin's history of picking and choosing which speakers to shut down or interrupt. Instead of these distracting policies and spending time drafting them, you should be picking up the phone and calling our state representatives, Fiona McFarland, Joe Gruters, James Buchanan, and asking them to fight for us in our schools and to do their jobs, to actually use your influence and connections with them in your party positions and as a political office holder, and using them to actually protect our schools. And I originally didn't want to talk about that at all. Originally, the item that I wanted to speak about was agenda item 8.3, renaming the football field at Booker High School in honor of Coach Fred Gilmore. Because of his decades of service as a coach at Booker High School, I graduated from Booker. I know plenty of students that have been impacted by him as a coach, who viewed him as a mentor and a leader. We've been able to raise around $32,425 already over the course of one weekend. So the community support to have this football field renamed is there. And so I'd also, separately, this is an opportunity to do something good for schools in our community to vote to rename that football field. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Our last speaker is Anya Dennison.
Morning, Chair and board members. I'm Anya. I'm a graduate of this district. I was at 2 through 12 at Pineview, and I've been attending these meetings for the past 2 years, often saying the same thing over and over. We need to be proactive and see the problems coming and have a plan before they hit our classrooms. That's why I wanted to speak about agenda item 7.8, which is the vocational instructional program and the pre-employability transition services grant. These are great programs, and I'm grateful to see the district continuing to support them and the families and staff that make them possible. But what I've learned over the last couple of years is that good programs aren't enough if we don't protect them. And right now, at the federal level, the Department of Education has lost nearly half its workforce, and the office that oversees special education has been eliminated. That's the office responsible for IDEA oversight, grant management, and ensuring this literal exact grant agreement stays funded and the programs stay compliant. When those systems falter, which they are right now, if grants are delayed or if oversight stalls, it'll be our students here in Sarasota that feel the impacts, not someone up in Washington. So at a time when outside for-profit charter operators have already made it clear that they want to take over classrooms and facilities at Oak Park and put a K-12 school on its campus in its same buildings and cafeteria, we need to make sure these programs and these incredible imperative operations are protected. So my question to the board today is, like it has been before, what is the plan? Do we have local contingency funding or plans in place? How are we going to keep families informed and confident in our schools if there's change or disruption? The district has high standards and a reputation for caring deeply about our students with disabilities. In my 11 years in Sarasota schools, I've seen that firsthand. But that care has to show up in our planning, and it has to show up publicly. We can't just not know. I urge the district to get ahead of this, to coordinate with state and federal partners, and ensure that no matter what's happening at the national level, our student services continue seamlessly here at home. We've learned over and over and over again, like so many speakers have said, that waiting till a crisis arrives costs more in time, in resources, in student well-being. So I urge you to act on this. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our first segment of public comments. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to pass the consent agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. So we have approved item 6.1, the Sarasota County School Board consent agenda with Mr. Edwards doing the first and the second by Mrs. Ziegler. Are there any comments? Mrs. Ziegler?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I wanted to address 7.41. I think the question posed was relevant. I know that in my conversation with the superintendent, I had some concerns, but I also, what was posed now, I have more of a question on the not vetting process, the availability for anyone else to participate in it, and what that looks like, if the superintendent wants to reply, or if this is something we need to pull to get more information on.
Just to clarify, is the question asking just anyone being able to partner with us to provide priority access? Is that
correct? I mean, I think
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we've had several conversations throughout, I know, my tenure here, and we've had workshops, and we know that there are entities out there that provide this service. One that has continually been a good partner has been One Stop Housing with Mark Vengroff. From the information that was shared during the public comment around Pachota, from my knowledge, this land that is being donated by the Pachota family to do this project in Venice at the Venice Avenue Apartments is the connection to that piece there. So it's my understanding that he is donating that parcel for this project to happen. But there is always the ability for interested parties to work with the school district in providing priority access, and we will be open to that for any company that would serve as a good partner.
Thank you. And I just want to make a note on that. I know that the conversation of affordable housing has come up quite a bit as a board member. I certainly want to, as an individual and as a member of this community, want to ensure that we have affordable housing for all sorts of people, certainly our staff. But I also want to be cognizant that we don't get into the space of affordable housing. I know that this is not what this is saying, but I want to be crystal clear. I've made that very clear before, but I'll go on record again. I think that we need to be mission focused on education and academics, and the more we expand beyond that, the more limited we will be on being able to execute with success when it comes to our academic success for every student. In addition, I just want to be cognizant where we can enter into these agreements, but I want to be thoughtful that it is in fact fair in providing the value, but not using us as a marketing arm, because there is an element that I have a bit of a concern with. I'm going to support this to move forward because I think it's kind of on that line, but I just wanted those statements to be noted in my personal opinion on this matter. Thank you.
Mrs. Barker?
Thank you. I just wanted to, as a longtime reader of the Torch, the Pineview Torch, and I have a student at that school, I was almost in tears. I was so impressed with these student journalists who advocated for themselves. And not only did they just come and advocate for themselves, but they sent us a proposed policy that we used when we created our new and improved policy. So a huge shout out to those students. I'm so proud to have you as part of our school district. And I am enthusiastically in favor of our new and improved policy. So thank you all.
Ms. Rose?
Thank you, Ms. Marinelli. I am very much in favor of affordable housing for our employees. As a principal, it's very difficult to get staff, teachers, and retain them because they can't afford the housing. On that same topic, this is at no cost. For me, that is the biggest variable, that we are not obligated, we are not part of it. It's just offered to a set of employees in the district at large. So that I'm in favor of, because I too do not want to be in the housing business. I wasn't aware, I know the mayor and I have tremendous respect for him and his family. I wasn't aware that he is potentially involved in this in my discussions, and I'm looking for clarity, and it's not that I don't support affordable pieces that we are not owning or involved in. I look to legal counsel of elected officials, and are we certain, I mean, can we verify that indeed, because Superintendent Connor, you said you believe, but I'm looking for facts before I vote on something and any legalities. It's not personal to any individuals, but I'm asking for complete transparency before I vote.
Is the question, can we proceed legally with this?
Well, the question is, when elected officials are part of this, does that bring in another variable? And if they just donated the land, can we verify? And that puts them out of this process. There's just things that have been brought to the attention of the board. For me, I feel like I'm going forward with, I'm looking for what are we voting on, who's involved, and what do each of those variables mean, if anything.
So I would defer to the superintendent to walk through the exact arrangement.
Yeah, absolutely. So I see some consternation here, so we want to make sure everyone's very comfortable as we move forward. I would say that we could absolutely table this and answer all the questions related to this item and bring it forward in a future meeting if that's the case. I want to make sure that the board is fully informed and has everything they need to make a good decision. So I do believe this is going to be a great benefit to our staff overall as we continue to look for ways to recruit and retain. And this will just provide that more opportunities across county, whether it be north, south, and in the middle. But of course, if there are any concerns or just questions, we want to make sure that those are fully answered. And so I'm very comfortable in just tabling this and getting those answers for you.
Thank you very much. And I just want to reiterate that I'm in full support of those opportunities for our staff, and particularly when we're not in the business of being involved in a business fashion. But I very much appreciate, Superintendent Connor, your willingness to table it, and we are voting on something that's very, very clear and factual. Thank you very much.
So we are going to pull that from the agenda and discuss it at the next workshop?
So I think the proper procedure would be to amend the motion to approve the consent agenda, with the amendment being the removal of item 7.41, and which would require a second and obviously a majority of you to support that amendment.
I move to amend the agenda. I move to approve the consent agenda with the removal of 7.41.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So that.
I'm going to vote on it. Technically, I don't think we.
So we'll do a voice vote. Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Mrs. Ziegler?
Yes.
Ms. Rose?
Yes.
Mrs. Barker? Yes. And the chair votes yes. So the motion carries.
Yeah, so that removes 7.41. I think you now have to again vote to approve the consent agenda without 7.41 included.
May I have a motion to approve?
No motion.
No motion?
Just a vote as amended.
Just a vote with the amendment of removing 7.41. Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Mrs. Ziegler?
Yes.
Ms. Rose?
Yes.
Ms. Barker?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Now we are going to move on to new business. So I'm trying to follow this agenda.
It's 8.1.
Yeah. So may I have a motion to approve to advertise the new school board policy, Chapter 2, School Board Organization and Governance Policy 2.223, religious expression at the school board meetings.
Yes, I move that the Sarasota County School Board approve the request to advertise the new policy from Chapter 2, School Board Organization and Governments. Wait, is that right? Yes, policy 2.223, religious expression at school board meetings. Sorry.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Mr. Connor, will you present this, please?
I think you did a great job, Ms. Marinelli, stating the title of the policy. It is something that we discussed at our last workshop, and it is policy in Chapter 2, religious expression at school board meetings. This is just authorizing the advertisement of the policy for public review and for comment, and will bring back at a future meeting for final approval.
Okay. So are there any comments? Mr. Edwards?
I will not be supporting this because I stated at the workshop, and I really did appreciate the public comment when the word trust came up. That really does exemplify a lot of how I feel about sitting on the board and how things get presented over the years that I've been here, and don't trust how things come up. I am a person of faith, and I do believe in prayer, but I really also liked the idea of, which we had suggested at the last conversation in the workshop, a moment of silence. But I really also did like the idea of reiterating the mission and the vision. And I really think that sets a better tone for why we're all here and what we want to accomplish. So I will not be supporting that. And finally, in relationship to the word trust, what the day it was presented, or the policy for religious and expression, and additionally the resolution, which I'm also in favor of the celebration, it was coincidental to me that the federal government also had comments that day regarding these two topics. And so when it comes to trust, do I believe in its authenticity? No.
Any other comments? Ms. Barker?
Thank you. I did suggest at the last workshop having a moment of silence instead of a prayer or an invocation, and I maintain that position. And really, I'm just very practical about it. It seems right now to be, while I think the policy is well written, if we're going to have to go down an invocation route, it's pretty burdensome, and it does ask our staff to be involved in that process. And it's coming across, I attended a meeting yesterday with the community, and we've got a lot coming at us right now in public education, and it comes across as a little tone deaf. So I think a very simple solution would be to implement a moment of silence, and that cuts down on the cost and work to our staff and includes more of our community. So that I maintain that is the better option.
Thank you. Mrs. Ziegler?
Yes, thank you. Well, thank you for all those who came to speak, and I appreciate the varying positions on this. I am adamantly in support of this, of course. I think that it's ironic that we have a conversation about the declining enrollment and the struggle that we see as a district financially, the challenge and the competition with Schools of Hope on the horizon, as was mentioned here. And what is often missing from that conversation is why. Why are people seeking different solutions? Why are families leaving what is a great district filled with fantastic educators and great programs? There still is a problem here. And ironically, I think it's tone deaf to just continuously not address things that have clearly been eliminated. And if you talk and hear and listen to families, culture is everything. And this sets the tone in a very strong way of something that's prioritized, not only from a historical component, as was addressed multiple times. I appreciate the member of public who spoke about their meeting, and that at SCF, I believe it was, that they also start, because it does have a unsaid, powerful impact. It also illustrates our priority from a historical standpoint and the impactful discussions that we have to take as a board, as a legislative body, which is why it is allowed in the separation of church and state and all of that. We're in perfect good stand. But I think it's imperative that we really understand the impact that has happened in the erosion that's occurred in public schools across the country in education is removing components of patriotism, national pride, the starting with an invocation and the respect for prayer, because it has a powerful impact. It is rooted in history, and it says a lot about the culture and the leadership of this institution. And so in my mind, this is actually resetting the priority, setting the tone of saying this is important to us, it's important to this district, and it should reverberate in a lot of the decision-making process that we have going forward. So I am very excited about this being presented. This has been something that has been brought up many times over the years. The coincidental component of any other piece, I don't care. I think it's circumstantial, but I'll take it. And to me, I know that I've received a number of people who across the community who are very, very excited about this, that see the value and are very encouraged about the courage of those of us who are willing to stand strong and support this measure, because we understand the backlash that we're going to get, but there's a lot of a quiet majority that absolutely see the value in this. So I will be supporting this.
Thank you. Any further comments? Well, please vote. We'll do a voice vote. Mr. Edwards?
No.
Mrs. Ziegler?
Yes.
Ms. Rose?
Yes.
Mrs. Barker? No. And the chair votes yes. So the motion carries. Okay, may I have a motion for the item number 8.2, adoption of the resolution celebrating America's 250th anniversary?
I move that the Sarasota County School Board adopt the resolution celebrating America's 250th anniversary.
Second.
Right. We have the motion has been first by Mrs. Ziegler and second by Ms. Rose. Mr. Connor, will you please present?
Yes, thank you. Item 8.2 is the adoption of a resolution celebrating America's 250th anniversary. This resolution does commemorate the upcoming 250th anniversary of the United States of America in 2026, which is also known as the semi-quincentennial. This resolution Sarasota will join communities nationwide in preparing to celebrate this historic milestone and to engage students in learning about our country's founding and our continuing story.
Thank you. So please vote. Mr. Edwards? Oh, I'm sorry, comments?
Discussion.
Mr. Edwards?
So I will be supporting this. However, the word trust, once again, of any resolutions that are introduced by my colleague here have not resulted in favorable outcomes. So, but I found reading it a few times to be rather harmless and to be supportive of our great country and its 250th birthday. So I will be supporting it.
Thank you. Mrs. Ziegler?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the interest in this. I am very excited about the semi-quincentennial and the opportunity for this board to make a recognition of that, but also to designate a certain week in the 2026 school year as we move forward. I think, again, just hinging on comments I just mentioned before, I think it's an opportunity for us to really send a very strong message to the community about where the priorities are of this board and the courageous ability to stand strong and say that we take the national pride of our country very seriously. And so I am excited to see where this goes and to support this resolution. Thank you.
Mrs. Barker?
Thank you. I just want to be very clear. I am genuinely excited about celebrating the semi-quincentennial. And I know that the teachers here in this district, for one thing, they love a theme. So this is going to be a very exciting week for everybody. And I will beat you to the dollar store to stock up on our red, white, and blue poster board. Don't even think about it. I see some of you, making eye contact. That said, I am uncomfortable with turning this celebration into any sort of political theater. I did propose a slightly revised version to the resolution that was specific to Sarasota and specific to our students. It recognized the importance of public education in shaping our nation and the beautiful diversity of our families. And when we make any kind of public statement as a board, I believe it should be three things. I believe it should be student-focused, relevant to Sarasota, and free of any partisan overtones. And so for those reasons, I'm not comfortable supporting this resolution as it is written, but again, wholeheartedly support celebrating the historical milestones and the opportunity that it provides to inspire learning and unity in our schools.
Thank you. I will be supporting this resolution because I love our country, and because of our republic, this room is able to say and have the freedom. So I think it's very, very important that we celebrate that. I did receive an email from a teacher, Superintendent Connor, very positive of celebrating this. But the week that I guess was designated, there is a lot going on. And this was high school. And those of us, we know that I don't know of a week where there isn't something going on, especially in the high schools, whether it's testing, all of that. So could you please address that?
Yes, ma'am. Anytime we look towards the end of the year, we know the challenges logistically, especially in our high schools when AP exams start, final exams, state testing, IB testing, Cambridge testing, all of that takes place really throughout the month of April and May. And I know one of the priorities of the board as we were getting to finalize this resolution was to get as close to the 4th of July, because that will be the official celebration around that time. So obviously school ends at the end of May. So looking at both of those months and really trying to determine the best week is a challenge. And through conversations, we landed in that last week of April. May is really where all elementary through high school really get engaged in testing. And I will say this, as we will designate this as a district-wide celebration during that week, we also know schools can continue that throughout working around that schedule to have the celebration even extend beyond a week and into the month of May. So we know there will be some flexibilities that may have to occur, but as a district, we will recognize it officially during that week.
Thank you for that clarification. So no comments at this time. So we will take a voice vote. Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Mrs. Ziegler?
Yes.
Ms. Rose?
With tremendous pride for this great country, yes.
Mrs. Barker?
No, but I'll still beat you to the dollar store.
And the chair votes adamantly yes. So thank you. Okay. And this, I think, is the very exciting one. So may I have a motion for item number 8.3, the naming of the Booker High School football field in honor of Coach Fred Gilmore.
I move that the Sauter County School Board approve the recommendation of naming of the Booker High School football field, Fred Gilmore Field at Tornado Alley.
So, well, we have a first and a second. Superintendent Connor, would you like to comment?
Yes, ma'am. Very proud to do this, and I hate to steal Dr. Shelley's thunder because I know so much she would love to come up here and present this, but I'm going to take a privilege as superintendent to do so. This is a recommendation for the football field at Tornado Alley to be officially named the Fred Gilmore Field in honor of Coach Gilmore's more than 30 years of dedicated service. Coach Gilmore was more than just an athletic coach. He was a mentor, a role model, and a father figure to thousands of students. He instilled the values of discipline, perseverance, and teamwork in shaping student athletes in both on the field and in life. Coach Gilmore's story begins and ends with Booker. He attended all Booker schools as a student. Graduating from Booker High School in 1983, he proudly identified himself as a tornado and lived out that commitment for 43 years, first as a student, then a coach, a mentor, and a community leader. Currently, no athletic facilities at Booker High School carry the designation, as this naming will fill that gap. The response for the community has been extraordinary. I know the board has received tremendous amounts of communication electronically, more than 40 letters of support from our community sent directly to our board, and the committee that was formed with approximately 20 members of Booker alumni, current staff and students, and community leaders unanimously felt strongly about this designation. They met on the 24th and they agreed of September and agreed on naming the field. This group is spearheading the outreach, ensuring the broad-based engagement from every corner of the community, and the foundation of Booker High School has launched a fundraising campaign to cover all the costs associated with the signage and the recognition per our policy. And in less than 1 week, they were able to raise and commit over $32,000 to this effort, and still expecting more large donations. So this will be a legacy for the Gilmore family. By permanently recognizing Gilmore's service, the district will ensure that those values continue to inspire future generations. As both a graduate of the class of 1983 and a lifelong tornado for 43 years, and with the resounding support of alumni, families, students, staff, and community members, I request for the approval to name the field at Booker High School the Fred Gilmore Field at Tornado Alley.
Thank you. I was so excited for this. I don't remember if I asked for the motion. Okay, thank you. I thought we did, but I was so excited. And I would like to just reiterate that it's one of the very few times that, as a board member, I've gotten emails where 100% support of naming the football field after Coach Gilmore. So thank you. And I know you're just dying to say something. So we will take a vote. Any other comments? Mr. Words?
I just want to say that nothing happens at Booker these days without Dr. Shelley's involvement. And I owe her a big thank you, because not only does this recognize Coach Gilmore, it also will have a legacy well into the future at Booker High. And it will say community over and over and over again. Thank you, Dr. Shelley.
Any other comments? Okay, we will take a vote. I guess we can now do it on our computer screen.
Oh. You may have spoken too soon. Oh, mine worked. Oh.
Well, just in case, let's just do a voice vote. Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Mrs. Ziegler?
Yes.
Ms. Rose?
Yes.
Ms. Barker?
Absolutely yes.
And the chair votes absolutely yes. Thank you. So, your field is named Coach Fred Gilmore. Now we are moving into the general comment segment of our meeting. Each speaker will state their full name and have up to 2 minutes. A timer will appear on the screen. Please conclude promptly when the timer ends. The mic will automatically turn off when the timer reaches 0. Abusive language will not be tolerated. Outbursts, applause, or other interruptions that disrupt the meeting are not acceptable. Any person that interferes with the orderly process of this meeting after first being warned that such continued interference will result in removal will be removed. There are speakers in the room behind me that allow board members to hear public comment when stepping away from the mic or from the dais. When your name is called, please approach the podium. If you choose to pass, you will forfeit your time to address the board. As a reminder, a recording cannot be played during your 2 minutes of public comment. We appreciate your cooperation, and I'd like to add, we will have to adjourn the meeting at 12:45 because we have executive session at 1. So then we can reconvene, but we won't be able to reconvene until the executive session is over. So let's begin with our first speaker, please.
Luna Nito, followed by Christy Carwat.
Okay. Can I go? Good afternoon, Chair and members of the board. My name is Luna Rates Neto, and I'm a proud graduate of Suncoast Polytechnical High School in 2020. I grew up here in Sarasota. I went to Ashland Elementary and Sarasota Middle. Mr. Rose was my principal. But I never really felt like I belonged, and that all changed at Polytech. I tried out nursing, EMT, and by 15 years old, I realized that the medical field wasn't for me, and that was a gift. My last 2 years, I found my passion in early childhood education. I became an educator at only 17 years old. I further went on to receive my bachelor's in international and global studies. My peers from Polytech are now nurses, firefighters, artists, engineers, mechanics, cosmetologists, veterinarians, the list goes on. What is the plan to replicate every single one of those programs? From the first day of high school, we wore our uniforms with pride because we knew we were a part of something meaningful, a school that treated us like professionals, not just students. And that's only possible because Polytech is directly connected to Suncoast Technical College. Let me be clear that this environment is not something that can be replicated, especially not at Brookside. Moving Polytech would dismantle one of the district's most successful and self-sustaining ecosystems. If this board truly values equity and workforce readiness, the school embodies both. Please pause this decision, protect what works, keep Suncoast Polytechnical High School where it belongs, besides Suncoast Technical College, where students can keep discovering who they are and who they're meant to become. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christy Carwat, followed by Robin Pickett.
Good morning again. At the last board meeting, Ms. Rose, you tried to gaslight the community by stating that many issues presented at the meetings were not appropriate for the board because there were other roads to take. I would think you'd want to hear from your constituents no matter how many roads were out there. You did say one thing that I agreed with. You said that the board had fiduciary responsibility. I agree. After much research, I found that boards of any organization have 3 key fiduciary duties: the duty of care, duty of loyalty, and duty of obedience. Duty of care means the board will exercise diligence with resources, assets, and decision-making. I don't think you're doing that because you're not really looking at our future. The other one was duty of loyalty, which means that the board is always to put the interests of the organization above their own individual interest. The duty of loyalty requires that a board member put the public school system's interests first, even ahead of one's personal or political causes. So even if you do like Schools of Hope, you're not really serving the Sarasota County school system the best that you can. Duty of obedience, I think you're doing fine. Ms. Marinelli, Ms. Rose, and Ms. Ziegler, you are not fulfilling the first 2 of the 3 duties because you support vouchers and for-profit charter schools under the guise of choice. Remember, you are constitutional officers who took an oath to fulfill your responsibilities. If your personal or political beliefs prevent you from doing so, perhaps you are not fit to serve on the Sarasota County Public School Board. Thank you.
Robin Pickett, followed by Deb Hayes.
How excited I am to speak since I've been outside in the heat for 2 hours. Hello, good morning or good afternoon. My name is Robin Pickett, and I'm a full-time resident of Sarasota. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I am here to speak on the ill-conceived expansion of the Schools of Hope law. This is a law that's gone too far. In its expanded form, it is infeasible and dysfunctional, and I encourage you to engage our legislative delegation to fix it with urgency. The Sarasota School District is one of the best in the state. Our schools do not need a rescue. Yet this flawed law allows outside, distant operators like Matter Academy to move into our local school, public school buildings. This is not school choice. This is a hostile, uncompensated takeover. The law requires our school district, funded by our local property taxes, to not only provide rent-free space to these parasitic Schools of Hope charter schools, but to also cover the utilities, maintenance, custodial services, transportation, and even food services. Excuse me. This will cost our district hundreds of thousands of dollars each year. This is local taxpayer money being diverted from our existing public schools to subsidize a parasitic private entity. Board members, you have a fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers of Sarasota County. You have a duty not to passively comply with an unjust mandate, but to proactively fight to protect our local public schools. I encourage you to use all of your available resources. Use the resources offered by this community, your lobbyists, your staff, and your collective will.
Thank you.
Deb Hayes, followed by Demetrius Pandello.
Good afternoon. I'm Deb Hayes, a public school advocate. Vouchers are robbing the public education funding streams. Predatory, profit charter school chains are seeking to steal not only our facilities, but our students. Florida continues to starve public education to hasten its demise. Federal protections and resources for our special needs students are being taken away. Basic services for students and families are threatened or gone. And the majority of the board continues to be tone deaf to those needs by insisting on only one board meeting a month and currently holding that meeting at a time that is critically important, it is critically hazardous for our constituents. You have an opportunity at the next meeting to remedy that. It's a time to schedule 2 meetings a month for the incoming year at a time that is reasonable for the majority of stakeholders. Many in this community feel that the board did not do enough to fight against the threats to public education as they were being broadcast in clear, concise, and repetitive language. Rather than aggressively acting to avert these threats, some board members attack the reports of these threats with terms such as fear-mongering, untruths, and other very not nice terms. We are now seeing the results of inaction. It is not lost on the public that the board majority could have considerable political clout with legislators, in the room or not in the room. The first step is to respect the community by affording them opportunity to participate.
Thank you.
Damaris Pandello, followed by Paulina Testerman.
For Spectre Robotics, the team of Spectre Robotics, I apologize for my shades, it's for my disability. And I also apologize for the way you've been spoken to by many people here. You guys don't deserve that. Thank you for the opportunity to take pause. Our children, especially at Polytech, is a very specialized location. Your offices are of great importance, and we understand that this law has to happen and moves have to be made. But Polytech is special. The facilities there are important for the children. Charter schools as a whole initially reduced mental health issues with children. And if with this move, the way it's happening will do nothing but increase it. And that's important. It's important at a critical time for their lives. What's happening at Polytech, the reason why it's a top A school is because it's small, because of the resources that we have there connected to Suncoast College, because of the teachers there, the location, everything is critical. Location, location, location. Here in Sarasota, we know that that's of the utmost importance. Administrative offices, there are several underutilized properties that are owned by Sarasota County that are much easier to be moved for that. And I asked for pause so we can present research and an alternative plan so our children are not disrupted for their education. They had to go through testing with this anxiety on them, and they shouldn't have to. These children, their career paths will be altered forever if they are not our priority. Your offices can go anywhere. Portables, as many middle school students have had to deal with. It can be anywhere else. Do not move Polytech. They are crucial for changing the world, especially with Spectre Robotics. They are trained to be able to work under pressure, and that is something beautiful that is happening there and truly unique. If you move that and combine it with younger children in a different facility, the impact is immeasurable to their mental health, and who knows what will happen when you are combining 18-year-old.
Thank you very much.
Paulina Testament, followed by Jeff Craig.
Good morning. After the murder of Charlie Kirk, a witch hunt ensued, where this district investigated teachers for their social media comments on the murder. During the last workshop, Mrs. Rose, suggested that the district should reassess the professional ethics and standards of our local teachers and staff. And personally, I couldn't agree more, Mrs. Rose. We as a community should discuss the professional ethics and standards of our teachers, so allow me to begin. I want to tell you and the board about an incident at one of our local high schools where a teacher told a classroom of students that if women don't want to get pregnant, they shouldn't have been to their damn legs in the first place. Mrs. Rose, is that the professional ethics and standards that you're worried about? The same teacher went on to tell the classroom that former Senator Barbara Boxer believes that women should have a right to kill their baby 3 days after giving birth. Aside from the obvious lie, is that what we mean by professional ethics, Mrs. Rose? This teacher also told her classroom that communism was attractive to Jewish people. Is that what you mean by professional ethics? Interestingly, there's another story about a Sarasota teacher who offered an 11-year-old girl, female student, $40 per hour to cook and clean for him and his apartment, and told the girl that she would, quote, would have to work naked or only in her underwear. Well, that was many years ago, and thankfully that teacher was fired. So tell me, would our community question your professionalism and ethics, Mrs. Rose, if they learned that you're still Facebook friends with that exact teacher? If you can't remember this situation, Mrs. Rose, maybe Mrs. Marinelli can refresh your memory. I have a feeling she has a strong recollection of this story. You see, ladies, when you live in a glass house, it's important to not throw stones. The moral of my story is the only professional ethics you two care about are the ones that support your political bias. The division within our community is caused by your political grandstanding, and I will be here every single school board meeting at 10 a.m. to remind you of your hypocrisy, lies, piety. Leave our teachers alone.
Jeff Craig, followed by Xavier Davila.
Thank you again. It's nice to be able to be in the cool. It's been 2 hours outside. I got to tell you, there's a half a dozen students out there waiting who can't get in. They can't even stand in the lobby where it's cool. Last meeting, we had a couple of retired policemen here who were concerned about safety, which seemed kind of crazy since they could have volunteered their services. But we're not concerned about everyone standing out in the heat for 2 hours with no water, no shade, no opportunity to speak. I suggest that you move this forum somewhere else so that everyone has an opportunity to participate. I don't know where else to go with this. It's just so many things to be said that you could talk forever. and never get finished. But all these things that are going on, especially, you know, with the whole Charlie Kirk thing and now the bear thing, it's all interconnected. And it doesn't need to be like this, but the way it's being done is clear that it's being done to divide the community and to keep them from uniting to save this public school system. And so I expect you guys to do more than what's going on now. I expect you to rescue it. And there's 3 people on this board who seem determined to be the ones to bring it down in the name of school choice. But it's really about school takeover. Thank you.
Xavier Davila, followed by Jimmy Glover.
My name is Xavier, and I'm a recent Polytech graduate and now currently enrolled as a college student. And I feel the merge of this school is very important to me because it has shown time and time again that it feeds to the future of our society. 2 years ago, a student was provided the educational support to be able to attend MIT, being the only person in her grade to get there. This year, many students have gone across the country to be able to attend other colleges. Without the support and education provided at this facility, the state-of-the-art means there, this would not have been possible. It also wouldn't have allowed students like me who didn't know where they're going to go in life to find a true career path. And through Spectre Robotics and the other after-school programs like Girls in STEM, it truly supports people going into these fields. I would appreciate it if you didn't just go on with it, but you paused and truly reconsidered. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Jimmy Glover, followed by Lucas Carpenter.
Good afternoon, Superintendent Connor, members of the board. My name is Jimmy Glover. I'm the father of a senior at Booker High School, and 3 of my other children are proud Booker graduates. And also, in interest of transparency, I'm also a candidate for school board. Parents across this district are alarmed by reports that private schools could soon move into our public school buildings. Everywhere I go, people ask me the same question: what's happening to our schools? Sadly, they're not getting clear answers. The truth is, Mater Academy has already filed notices to co-locate inside our schools. This isn't theoretical anymore. These are real schools, real students, real teachers whose lives will be disrupted. Labeling our schools as failures and handing them to outside corporations is wrong. Sarasota built its reputation on strong public education. This takeover insults the hard work of every teacher, student, and parent who made that possible. Public schools are the backbone of fairness and opportunity in this country. They are not for sale. They do not belong to out-of-state operators chasing profit. They belong to the people of Sarasota County. I urge this board to stand with our teachers, our families, and our children. Say no to schools of hope, and yes to schools that truly belong to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lucas Carpenter, followed by Avery Cole.
Hello, my name is Lucas Carpenter, and I'm a 17-year-old senior at Suncoast Polytechnical High School. I wanted to start us off with an exercise. If the meeting times are at 10 a.m., where are the Sarasota County School Board primary constituents at this time? Are they A, at Busch Gardens, B, at home, or C, at school? Yeah, they're at school. The teachers and students of Sarasota County, yes, y'all's primary constituents are at school right this very moment. My peers are in class right now while I am telling the adults in charge of my education to care about my education. As a 17-year-old, I cannot vote, and most students in Sarasota County are in the same boat as me. Our way of influencing the policy in Sarasota County schools is coming to these meetings and giving comments. First, we showed up twice a month to share our concerns, praise, and ideas. Then we showed up once a month. Now we are expected to miss our classes if we want to engage in our education. Yes, I said expected, because you cannot expect anything other than students being here after hearing and seeing students fill this room for months and still today. It is absurd that teachers and students have to sacrifice either their job or their education to make it to these meetings at present. This goes beyond partisanship because no matter who you are, you should be able to comprehend that this is blatant hypocrisy to shut out the constituents you serve. I hope that the meeting times go back to 6 p.m. to make it more accessible for the school board's primary constituents so students do not have to walk out to speak out, which will happen on a larger scale than what you are seeing right now if something does not change by November 18th. These students, parents, and teachers organized within a day's notice to be here, and look at how full the room is. Imagine how full it will be with an organized effort next month. The Sarasota County School Board has a choice for this to happen during our educational hours or in the evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Avery Cole, followed by Taylor Collins.
Good, it's on. Okay. Good morning or good afternoon. My name is Avery Cole. I'm a current junior at Booker High School, except I'm not currently at Booker. While my friends and peers are learning their academics and other electives, I'm here speaking to the board that chose to bar students from attending these meetings. This board originally cut our meetings to once a month, and now they decided that these meetings will be held at 10 a.m., preventing working parents, teachers, and especially students from attending these meetings. Now, I'm not an adult. I don't have adult responsibilities yet. I cannot vote or serve on a jury. I don't have those responsibilities. My responsibilities are going to school. I should not have to choose between caring about my education and actually getting my education. These meetings are the only way for students, your primary constituent, to have a say in their education. I hope that by the November meeting, the time has gone back to 6 p.m. so students don't have to walk out of their school to attend these meetings, because our education is our responsibility that this board is responsible for. The students of this district will not stay silent no matter how hard you try to silence us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Taylor Collins, followed by Lisa Klein. I think she left. She might have left.
Mrs. Collins? I think she's
Yeah, I think
left.
she left. Lisa Klein, followed by Julie Forrester.
Hello, I'm Lisa. Hello, I'm Lisa Klein. As a former educator, mental health therapist, and parent in the district, I've seen firsthand how critical the ESE department and the services provided under it are for students and families. I wanted to raise a concern about the recent staff reductions in the U.S. Department of Education offices that oversee special education and the civil rights protections for students. These changes would significantly impact the oversight that ensures schools adhere to the IDEA mandates fairly and consistently. And during Disability Awareness Month, it's especially important to recognize that these protections exist for a reason, to make sure that every student has access to a free, appropriate public education, regardless of their ability. I'd like to ask what the district's plan is to ensure continuity of services and compliance if and when these federal reductions begin affecting oversight. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Julie Forrester, and I'm the proud parent of a 17-year-old who attends Suncoast Polytechnical High School. I'm going to try not to cry. My husband and I became her guardians after my sister, her mom, passed away at the summer before her freshman year. When she came to live with us, one of my first priorities was finding her a smaller, more personal school environment that would nurture her growth. Suncoast Polytech has been such an incredible blessing. From the moment we applied, I was told she would be surrounded by people who cared about her, supported her, and would help her reach her goals. Every bit of that promise has come true and more. She's thriving academically and personally. She's discovered a passion for filmmaking and is now applying to film schools. I can't imagine that would have happened anywhere else. What drew us to Polytech was its small size and its closeness, the sense of belonging, the ability for every student to be known by name. That comes along with it. My concern is that in turning it into a much larger 6 through 12 school, we risk losing part of what makes it so special. So my question is, what other options have been explored? Could we consider other ways to manage building capacity, like redeveloping Brookside for the apartments you spoke about turning Polytech into last night, or possibly even moving the landings there? That way we can keep Polytech intact and perhaps turn Wilkinson into a K through 8 STEM school, so we can still gain that great STEM middle school that you spoke of last night, which I love the idea of that. Polytech isn't broken. It's a success story. Please don't change what is helping students to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lila Newcomb, followed by Sally Sells. Sally Sells.
Am I good to go? Gosh, it's been a while. My name is Sally Sells. I'm a mother to a 7th grader in Sarasota County. Many parents here and watching today have come to the realization that our local schools are either closing, combining, or being taken over by for-profit charter schools. Many parents are just waking up to the fact that their tax dollars are being stolen from them and their children are being robbed. Robbed of resources, robbed of opportunities, robbed of friends, and robbed of their beloved teachers. I want to let these families know that this was not an accident. This was always the plan and it has worked. While we are working overtime or 2 jobs just to make ends meet, the corrupt politicians have been working to ensure that they get a piece of the public education pie. They've worked to change laws and collaborated with school board members like Bridget Ziegler and Karen Rose to fleece our schools. Lest we forget the speech Karen Rose gave at a Proud Boys town hall, in which she said she wants to totally and completely highlight and delete the U.S. Department of Education. Parents, if you are outraged, vote. Vote out school board members like Karen Rose, who wants to delete the Department of Education. Vote out Bridget Ziegler, who sends her kids to private school while our kids beg for scraps. Parents, we need to learn that these problems do not go away if we ignore them. We have to make it clear we won't stand for our children being robbed of an education, and the way to do that is at the ballot box. Karen, as I have a little time left, I would just like to ask you how we are supposed to teach our children to do the right thing, to show up when things are tough, to be humble in victories and graceful in defeat when you are back on the board. For those parents who are a little later to the Sarasota County School Board circus, Miss Rhodes lost her race school board to Miss Barker. Welcome, Liz. And after her embarrassing defeat, she refused to show up for work for 3 months. 3 months, Miss Rose. Then out of all the people our governor could have chosen, he picked you. You must be very, very useful to the power that be. Thank you.
Mary Ginley, and then Jamie Barrett.
Good afternoon. Mary Ginley, a retired teacher. I need to tell you, I actually like 10 o'clock meetings. I don't like going out at night. I don't like driving in the dark. Yeah, 10 o'clock is just perfect. And I imagine it's perfect for some of you too. Unfortunately, I'm not the one who needs to be here. And these meetings aren't supposed to be at your convenience. You're here to serve the people of Sarasota County. And the ones who need to be here, and they've come at great cost today, are the students, the teachers, the moms and dads. They're the ones with skin in the game. And you've made it nearly impossible for that to happen. First, you cut the meetings to once a month. Next, you switch the time from 6 to 10. I can come and talk to you, but the people you absolutely need to hear from are the ones who find it the hardest to get here. I wonder, did you do that on purpose to cut down on public comment? Didn't work today, huh? Or was it that even when you saw the ramifications, you voted for the change because 10 o'clock was more convenient for you? Do you honestly believe that you are public servants? I learned a long time ago, don't listen to what people say. Watch what they do. You say you want to hear from everyone, but what you do is cut the meetings and change the time. Sent the message loud and clear to the students, teachers, and parents that you really aren't interested in what they have to say. Let's change the time back to 6 o'clock. I can stay up past 8 o'clock once a month. I can drive home in the dark. I got these driving glasses that cut down on the glare. I'm ready whenever you are.
Thank you.
Amy Barrett, followed by Jeremiah Barker.
Hi, I'm Jay Barrett, and I want to let you know I do believe in God and Jesus. But I also believe in choice. I am here to express my concerns about allowing schools of hope in our community. I've never heard of schools of hope until just a few weeks ago, and I like to share what I learned. If we allow this charter school into our buildings, they will be allowed to use our tax dollars to set up a business rent-free and be allowed to use our services like custodian, maintenance, and food services. Schools of Hope has already been tried and failed. Millions of dollars were poured into Schools of Hope program in Jefferson County. The findings produced no better results, sometimes worse than the district-ran schools. That's our state's data. They pitched it as a turnaround model. Instead, taxpayers saw higher costs and the takeover collapsed. As a result, teachers were laid off, students were displaced, schools were shuttered or restructured. 8 years into the program, over a dozen Schools of Hope are operating across Florida. The last year, 8 of them earned a C or D. Meanwhile, hundreds of district-run schools serving students in low-income districts and public schools earned A and B. We have A-rated public schools here in Sarasota. Why would we introduce a failed experiment? Allowing Schools of Hope in Sarasota would be a catastrophe. The majority of Sarasota parents choose public schools. Don't take away their choice.
Thank you.
Jeremiah Barker, followed by Ambrosie Conwell.
Good afternoon, everybody, the board and the audience. I am Jeremiah Barker. I am the president of the freshman club in Polytech. When I was elected, I promised that I would promote the will of my people, and what they want is not this. They do not want to go to Brookside. Polytech has one of the strongest school spirits that I have ever seen, and I wish to keep school spirit strong. Moving us to Brookside would make our school spirit, the student identity would be stripped from us. And as the president of the freshman quad, student rep, I believe that this movement will not do anything good for us. This will merely just hinder us. Taking us away from our current position and giving it to bidding to the charter schools, Mater Academy, they showed their interest in taking our position. This is not fair. This is not right. Our position next to the community college, or the technical college, that gives us so many opportunities in CTE. We can go to amazing lengths. We can do a nursing program, automotive program. There are many other programs that are provided to us. There are many clubs that are provided to us. And if we are moved, these clubs are not insured. Brookside, I was there for 3 years of my middle school. Grade school cannot handle every single Polytech student. There is not enough room, and we are cramming everybody into, everyone into a school that cannot handle it. And when we cram these people, if they drop test scores, it is proven if there are too many people in a classroom that will drop test scores. That is a fact. We lose some clubs because the infrastructure might not be there. Spectre, I'm not personally in it. I'm personally in Vex, but Spectre, they lose their easy position right next to the Spectre lab. Vex, there's good Vex infrastructure, but not enough for all the new incoming club people if this Schools of Hope do get implemented. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
Ambrosie Conwell, and then Gillian Singh.
Good morning, members of Sarasota County School Board, faculty, and community members. My name is Ambrosie Cronwell, and I'm a junior at Suncoast Polytechnical High School, or SPHS. I'm here today because our school is more than just a building or money for this county. SPHS is a community and a place students come to be special, and they want to learn. A lot of us, we have the opportunity to be in the CTE program over at SCC. That is a valuable location of SPHS. Merging us into Brookside, putting us with middle schoolers, takes away the uniqueness of our school, where instead of putting us with lower classmen, we're able to be around college students and adults. We learn from people who have experience in the real world and business aspects. And I see for a lot of our programs that they've been defunded by the state a decent amount. Now, I understand the school sits on a lot of area and opportunity and a giant pile of money. We estimate around 50 to 100 million. It's just how much the land is worth, including the school, probably even more. Now, Suncoast Polytech is one of the only magnet schools in our state, in our county. Actually, probably the only one. Moving us to Brookside would only hinder that. We should instead postpone this until you guys have proper infrastructure to move us, or instead reallocate funding from Brookside and move it into Wilkinson, turn that into a K through 8th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jillian, followed by Russell Finger.
Good afternoon. My name is Jillian Singh. I am a junior at SPHS. I am also a key part of our robotics team. Just because families are interested in more STEM opportunities for their children does not mean the best course of action is to take us away from the campus that was designed and built specifically for us to be a CTE-focused high school. Part of our appeal is a very small high school. This plan would double our school in size, taking that aspect away. We also have significantly less bullying compared to other high schools, making us a safe for many. This would be severely damaging to the close-knit community we have worked so hard to create by forcing us to move. On top of that, you would be taking us away from the facility that was designed just for us, from the medical labs to the engineering room. Our junior and senior engineering classroom is also housed in one of STC's building, so we would be losing access to our already furnished machine shop that has high-tech tools such as the CNC, plasma cutter, and CNC router. This would greatly affect our first robotics team that uses not only our engineering room, but the precision manufacturing lab as well. Precision manufacturing is a class that STC offers to high schoolers and adults to teach them how to operate multi-axis CNCs. As a robotics team, we use those machines to make custom parts for our robots, such as gears and plates for our swerve drive. Another important aspect of our campus is not only our proximity to STC, but also our proximity to the Fab Lab as well. This allows our students to walk next door and have access to a number of tools and technologies, such as laser cutter equipped to cut materials that the ones we have cannot. A number of our students also volunteer at the Fab Lab. This is very beneficial for them because they can just walk next door. This enables students who do not yet have a driver's license to get their volunteer hours early on. We all love the idea of giving STEM opportunities to more kids. However, this is not the way to go about it. Another solution could be a more STEM-focused middle school. I guarantee you that many of our students and faculty would be in support of this idea. We just urge you to not go after our school as collateral damage when trying to fix these problems. Thank you.
Thank you.
Russell Finger, followed by Reverend J. Rowland.
Good morning. My name is Russell Finger. I'm a longtime teacher at Suncoast Polytech. I've been there over 15 years. My daughter is currently a sophomore at the school, and my son just graduated last year. SPHS has become my family. And like many families, there's a lot of dysfunction hiding under the amazing exterior. We serve our students in many ways, but I do not believe that the dysfunction will be able to survive the move. We've had declining enrollment the past several years due to STC pulling many of our CTE programs. We've lost our 4-year nursing program and our undergraduate and our high school EMT program, both of which caused declining enrollment at our school. We do not have a wait list for students to get into our school. We admitted every single student that met the requirements for Polytech last year, and we only were able to bring in 145 students, well below the 165 target that we usually look for. Proximity to STC and the CTE programs is really what parents are looking for in this community. They're really looking for a career so that their students can come out of high school with something tangible. In the days of AI and high-cost college, many parents are looking for something else, and we got a lot of students from those CTE programs that have now been lost. Moving our campus will remove us from that STC facility. That gives us not just access to their programs, but also access to upper-level adult education that gives us the ability to have a model for our students that is higher than what they are at. If we move it to a 6 to 12 model, I worry that our students aren't quite ready to be that mature model, and that it's going to erode the programs. I do not see how that moving us from our amazing campus over to Brookside, where we're going to be next to an alley and car wash, is going to be any better than being next to STC. I wish there was a different plan in place, and I really wish the board would consider this time frame is just not rightful.
Thank you.
Reverend J. Rowland, and then Wilson Mateos.
I'm Reverend Jay Wolin, and I serve as minister of the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota. Unitarian Universalism teaches us that democracy is not just a system, it is a moral commitment. It honors the inherent worth and dignity of every person by ensuring that every voice is heard and every person has a say in the decisions that shape their lives. And that's why I'm deeply concerned about two issues. First, moving the school board meetings to 10 a.m. is just frankly an immoral act. The democracy worthy of the name does not silence the people that it serves. Holding meetings in the morning ensures that those most affected, parents who work during the day, teachers, students, cannot be attending here. Public education belongs to the public, and the board meetings morally should remain accessible to all and should not force students to have to take off of school to come here. Second, I'm concerned about the continued expansion of charter schools using public space and public dollars. Charter schools, and we talk about history. Part of our history is also segregation. And charter schools, on average, are significantly more racially segregated than our public schools. Segregation undermines the promise of public education that every child, regardless of race and background, learns and thrives together. This is the exact reason why we should study systemic racism, the use of laws to discriminate. Our tax dollars should build bridges among children, not build up walls between them. Our schools are sacred spaces where democracy should be learned and passed on to the next generation.
Thank you.
Wilson Mateos, followed by Anthony Olris.
After those two speakers, we will adjourn. And then when the executive session is over, we will continue with the meeting. I don't know. I don't know how long the executive session will last. I said the last two, they will speak, and they will come, then you will come back after executive session. We'll adjourn now. According to our attorney. According to our attorney, the executive session should last about an hour. I'm sorry. There is out.